say, I get piano these sandwiches in the foot. What are they?
Tuna.
Salmon.
I could get used to that.
This is the last time I'll be able to patronise Francesca, and then after this it's you, Steve. But I'm allowed to patronise because I'm her dad, so there you are. My dear friends, most of you will know that my name is Mario and I'm Francesca's dad. It's important I'm not confused with the Mario over there, my son, who unfortunately now has the impertinence of being taller than me. Can I begin by saying welcome to everyone here today. Some of you have come a very long way, none more so than Stephen's lovely mum Helen, who's come all the way from Turkey. We've also got loved ones here from as far afield as Ireland, not to be confused with Northern Ireland. People even from as far away as Cumbernauld. But wherever you're from, near or far, thank you so much to everybody for making your way here to join us, celebrating the marriage of Stephen and Francesca. Now we're on the internet to get this wee speech done, and it tells me there's an order that you've got to do things. So first a wee introduction to welcome everybody, and then it's the turn of Stephen. I've got to go on to him. So it's with great joy that I welcome Stephen into the family. Son, well done, son. Recently my wife Sarah and I had the pleasure of spending a few days with Stephen and Francesca in Kyle of Localsh, and it's obvious that Stephen is a polite, caring and courteous young man. That may come as a surprise to some. Stephen also demonstrates considerable patience and sensitivity, something that will stand him in good stead in his married life. He's therefore a credit to his mother Helen. Well done you too, Helen. And his father Kenneth. Well done, Kenneth, over there. And I know for a fact that Stephen is quite a romantic. As well, he was going out with Francesca. He bought her flowers every week. Can you imagine that? Oh my goodness. That says quite a lot about the man.
Oh, I'm so scared.
On to the bride now. Francesca was born on the 17th of September 1990. A scary thing, isn't it? And it could be said that for the first 5 years of her life, whenever I wasn't working, Francesca and I were inseparable. Sarah was retraining as a primary school teacher and was tied up. Not literally, she was tied up with her studies. So I was the one who had most time to spend with Francesca. And in her early years in Stranraer, I would take Francesca every day to play on the swings, then to Woolworths for a toy before settling down for the evening with a video and ice cream and popcorn from the corner shop. It was obviously her love was for sale and I wanted some of it. The truth is that I enjoyed every minute as much as she did. Well, Francesca may resemble her mother on the outside, she is all me on the inside. We have similar tastes in so many things, such as music and literature, and we share many of the same fears. Francesca tells me that Father Frank, who is soon to be a bishop, Father Frank wasn't very nice. He recently said that Francesca was neurotic.
Never.
Of course, he gets it from me. Francesca loved life in Dumfries and Galloway, although I think she found it tough when the young pretender, wee Mario, was born in Dumfries in 1995, as she was no longer the sole centre of attention. I think she was even more shocked when we returned up north to live in Lanarkshire in 1997. A clever girl at school, she was nonetheless very sensitive and sometimes imagine that certain teachers didn't like her. There was one particular French teacher, Mrs. McCairn, who Francesca was, there's some people here who know this, really. The French teacher, Mrs. McCairn, who Francesca was certain hated her. The strained relationship between Mrs. McCairn and Francesca came to a head one day, courtesy of a wasp. One sunny day, the wasp came into the classroom and Mrs. McCairn asked, as female teachers do, for a big strong boy to catch it. The big strong boy was a wee titchy lad called James Cryans. Wee James Cryans chased the wasp all round the room, and as it came close to Francesca, Francesca got up from her desk and stepped backwards at great speed, straight into Mrs. McCairn, knocking the teacher to the floor, the teacher's legs and stiletto heels dangling high in the air. So watch out anyone who doesn't like Francesca. As Francesca gets older, however, it seems she's becoming less like me and more like her mother. Normally this would be a good thing, however, there's one aspect of her mother's behaviour that Steve would do well to watch out for. You need to watch out. Anyone who knows my lovely wife Sarah and me knows that we are late for just about everything. To avoid being late, Sarah over the years has introduced a strategy to sort this out. If we have to be somewhere at 6, Sarah tells me that we have to be there at 5:30 in order to trick me into being on time. And it never works. And the reason why it never works is because I'm not the problem. That's why it doesn't work. All tricking me does is make me faff around for an extra half hour every time we're running late for something. In the early days of our marriage, when we were running late for the cinema, I'd go up and check on Sarah and she'd be painting her fingernails. I remember how confused I was because it's dark in the cinema and no one would have noticed her fingernails. She could have painted her face before she headed out and no one would have noticed. So Steve watched out for the timekeeping. Now to pay tribute to the woman that Francesca has become. Stephen, I know I'm biased, but you have of course married a beautiful young woman who is caring and compassionate. Francesca regularly volunteers at a food bank and is a determined non-meat eater as she cannot bear the thought of herself causing animals to suffer, and that's highly commendable here. She is possibly the most sensitive person I've ever met, and it's fair to say that she has this engaging vulnerability. She's the only teacher, apart from me, who apologises to pupils after she gives them a hard time. Filled with remorse, Francesca often goes over to the young person and says, and I quote, "Sorry that I've been such a cow." Stephen, it's with great regret that I pass over my responsibility for Francesca over to you. But if ever you have your hands full with other responsibilities, I'm happy to come off the subs bench. Some advice in marriage. Francesca knows one of my favourite sayings in relation to marriage, and Steve, you need to listen to this, because it's especially applicable to you and to all husbands or male partners here today. Please remember these 4 words: happy wife, happy life. Do your best to keep your wife happy and everything will be alright. And how will you find happiness? Don't fall into the trap of thinking that happiness comes from an easy life or material possessions or lots of money. No, no, no. True happiness comes from sacrifice, because sacrifice is the greatest act of love. Sacrifice for our children, for our family, for our friends, and for those in need. And finally, to toast a happy couple, I do hope that Stephen and Francesca go on to have several children. When I look at my own 2 children, Francesca and wee Mario, and I see how hard they try to make sense of this crazy world of ours, it touches my heart and fills me with love. And it's my love for them that makes me realise how much our Father in heaven loves each and every one of us, and how much He loves this happy couple here today. So my dear friends, once again, thank you for everything. Everybody in this room, I can't thank you enough. Please raise your glasses for a toast to Francesca and Stephen, the bride and groom, Francesca and Stephen. Cheers. Hey!
Mario, that was something else, and you're going to be a very, very tough act to follow, but I'll do my best. Ladies, gentlemen, friends, family, Andrew Stevenson. First off, I would love to say on behalf of my ex-girlfriend and I, sorry on behalf of my wife and I. Again, I could get used to that. So, we wish you all a very happy new year, and of course a very heartfelt thank you to each and every single one of you for making the trip here and being with us tonight. As Mario's pointed out, people have travelled a long way just to be here. It means the world to us. Thank you for that. I'm pretty sure the local hotels are pretty happy with it as well. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank both Mario and Sarah Benini, not only for their incredible generosity in making all of this possible, but for being so kind, warm and accepting, and for raising such a wonderful daughter that I feel lucky, not just because I get to marry her, but I even not got to know her in the first place. Sorry. So I'd like to offer an additional thanks to Mario as well, both for officiating the wedding and for putting me at ease when I first asked for his blessing before popping the big question. As you've probably noticed, for those who don't know Mario, he has a way about him, he just naturally puts people to ease. He's just so warm and welcoming. It's effortless. So I like to think that I was a picture of calm, collected and poised, but inside, so I was right to be honest. He was quick to put me at ease. We had a great talk. He gave some great advice similar to what he's given today. And funny enough, an excellent recommendation for a pillow. It was a temper, just in case anybody's wondering. Of course, I would like to thank Sarah, as well as everybody who helped her last night and today in setting up the table decorations. The look in his head, it really makes the place extra warm.
Team effort. Big team. Thank you.
I was part of that team just so I wanted to say a quick note as well to Francesca's brother, Mario. He again has been so welcoming, funny, friendly and accepting me into the family. I could honestly say that Mario is going to be a Super Mario brother-in-law. So I would of course be remiss if I didn't thank my own mum, my own dad, Helen and Kenny, for if it weren't for their love, their support, their advice, their guidance and above all their patience, I wouldn't be the man that I am. I wouldn't even be half the man that I am today. The jury's still out whether that's a good thing or not. My brother Kevin as well, for being there when we were growing up, for being the kind of brother that you're proud to also have as your friend. I'd also like to extend a thanks to the bridesmaids as well for their outstanding performance today. They're looking absolutely stunning, I'm sure we can all agree. I knew they would have a big job. I didn't realise how big their job was until I saw the veil. So I've got to thank Wendy, Kathy, Ken and William, the ushers, in addition to Tessa for providing the lovely flowers in the church. Again, it just brought a warmth to the place. Thanks Sarah for leaving my applause. Got to extend as well a special thank you to Father Frank and Father William for seeing the match today. So, this now brings me to the biggest thank you of all, to thank my beautiful bride Francesca for being an amazingly wonderful person, for being a friend, a partner, a teammate and confidant, and for putting up with my jokes. She's brought a life into my life like no others. A sense of purpose, fulfillment, joy, contentment and happiness. I could honestly, and I really mean this, I could go on for hours about all the things that I like and love about Francesca. And as much as I'm sure that she would love that, and that I've got you guys here as a captive audience, I promise I won't go on for that long. Francesca and I, it sounds like that, bear with me. Francesca and I first met years and years ago at a rock club in Glasgow called the Cat House. Sheer love of rock music. We spent many hours talking and laughing with each other, but never once did I really think that this beautiful, funny and interesting girl would be into me. So there was one fateful night where me and my friends, we went into Glasgow for some drinks. I was only planning on staying out for a couple. We went to a place called the Solid Rock, had a few, the night was moving on, and then my good friend Nathan, he convinced me to go to the Cat House. I think his actual words, I can't remember, but I think his words were somewhere along the line, aye, but won't it? He was very persuasive. So that night, Francesca and me, we met again. We talked and laughed again, but this time we exchanged numbers. I finished the night thinking that this beautiful, intelligent, engaging girl, nah, she's not into me. After a few weeks exchanging texts, yes, texts, not WhatsApps or anything like that, texts, spending time getting to know each other, the courage was finally plucked up to go on our first date. It was a classic dinner and movie situation, one where Francesca, she was actually willing to go through and sit through a 3-hour-long movie, one that she'd already seen before, I might add, just because I had expressed an interest in seeing it. That's when I actually first thought this beautiful, witty and charming girl might actually be into Batman. So, I don't need to spoil the rest of the story, but we did continue to have probably the most fun I've had with someone on a first date. And by the end of it, it's safe to say that I was very much into her. Another memorable date that we had was one we spent in a bar in Glasgow called MQ64. For those that don't know, this is a computer game themed bar with lots of different arcade style things, fantastic cocktails. And one game in particular called Street Fighter. That's where two people fight each other, you control a character and you fight each other. Whoever loses the health at the end wins. She beat me so bad, barely even a competition. And I'm not saying that's when I knew that she was on, but it might have been when I first started having my first suspicions. Not too much more, I promise, guys. Getting to know Francesca has been one of the highlights of my life. She has a true and kind heart, a strong moral compass. She's the kind of person who, as Mario pointed out, she's the kind of person that will volunteer her free time to help those less fortunate. For example, helping out at a local food bank, going out with a date with me. She's even gone as far to open her home to shelter any refugee in need. She's always looking for and trying to do the right thing by people. Her unyielding belief and faith and trust in God and Catholicism. She follows these virtues. It's a part as much as her as it is. She's an exemplar. She is a great ambassador for everything related to Catholicism. She puts so much effort into bettering herself, which is hard to imagine considering just how close to her she already is.
Oh, you're big shoot.
She's always on the lookout for new hobbies and skills. Sometimes she even sticks with them. And, as I mentioned, she's also beautiful. I, of course, could not fail to mention her infectious love of video of Sky. One which after several trips up together, one that I can say that I now feel myself. She's amazed me with her knowledge of the place, knowing all the good places to visit, the restaurants to eat at, the hotels to stay, and perhaps most importantly, the best whiskies to try. On a more personal note, having spent many hours in deep and meaningful conversations, playful banter, indulging in our shared interests, going on dates, or even just relaxing and enjoying each other's company. There was no one that I've ever felt a stronger connection with. No one that I've ever enjoyed spending so much time with. We've had our challenges, but we've faced them together. We've had our disagreements, as all couples do. But again, we've faced them with a mutual understanding and respect. We've always come out of the other end stronger and even more on each other's side. There's not a single doubt in my mind that I would want to spend my life with her, building our life and our family together, being on each other's side, living and growing with each other, sharing our hopes and dreams and facing our challenges. We share a love that I can only see growing stronger with time. Francesca, my bride, my wife, I love you with all my heart. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, friends, family, Andrew Stevenson, again, from the bottom of my heart, I do thank each and one of you for being with us here today and making our special day all the more special just by being here. Thank you.
I'm Scott. I'm the stand-in best man today. Bam is recovering at the moment in hospital, but as soon as I couldn't even keep hold of his appendix tonight, I thought probably better that he didn't have the rings. I read online that you're supposed to start a best man speech with a gag. I don't really see the point in that myself, now that that's over with. I'm also supposed to give some advice for life and marriage, and seeing as you beat me in that race to get married, I don't think there's much I can really tell you. The only thing that any of the happy couples I know have in common is empathy, communication and understanding. And I don't think I can advise Steve on that much because he's already miles ahead of any man I know. Hey. Years ago, me and Steve were out drinking, and end of the night comes, closing time, and we're walking home. And down the street comes a really angry-looking little man. He was pushing people out of the way, just generally looking for a fight. And at that moment, the adrenaline starts, and I'm thinking I'm going to get punched, or I'm going to have to phone an ambulance because someone's been punched. And Steve stepped in front of me and walked up to the angry little man, and he just said, "Are you okay?" And very quickly, the angry little man became a very sad little man. And it's where I'd seen a threat, Steve's seen an opportunity for empathy and communication. And I think if he carries on in his marriage like that, he's not going to have any problems. I'm going to keep this brief, much like the engagement.
Is nobody in charge here?
Andrew?
Graham's in charge of the photographers.
He had a much longer speech as well.
Ladies and gents, can I suggest the normal course would be we take our happy couple over to the cake, I take some official photographs, you photograph behind me, thereafter we retire to the other room, and then we'll be looking forward to seeing the happy couple do the first dance and let the party start. Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Right.